Welcome back to the Talk with Maynard podcast, the podcast about motivation, awareness, disabilities, world problems, and cars.
This week, we're going to be talking about the first 5 vehicles featured in the Project Maynard Thing Wheel Wednesday videos: the 2020 Land Rover Defender, the 2020 C8 Corvette, the 2020 Ferrari F8 Tributeo, the 2020 Ferrari Sf90 Stradali, and the 2020 Dodge Challenger Superstock.
Let's get straight to the discussion.
Most of the vehicles in the series are brand new models or models that have been significantly redesigned. In this video, we'll be discussing the general information and features about each of these vehicles. Then we will be guessing the quarter-mile time based on the vehicle specs. Then Cody will reveal the actual times, and we'll put them on a list ranking them from fastest to slowest.
So we're going to get started by discussing the new 2020 Land Rover Defender, which was my first Wheel Wednesday video of this year. And we want to start off by discussing the styling. And the first thing I want to say about the styling of this vehicle is I think it's kind of strange. I'm not sure what they were trying to do with some of their styling elements.
It almost looks like, and I mean they couldn't have done it, but I'm looking at several pictures of it here, and it's like they were trying to almost do like one of the new Broncos, the 2020 Bronco, and it didn't quite work, or I don't know. It's kind of squattier too, and yeah, just different. And
the thing about what you just said right there, though, this was designed before the Bronco came out.
I know, and they couldn't have done it, but it reminds me of with the round and the headlights. And
what I'm trying to figure out is the square they put in the middle of the back window.
Oh yeah,
there's just a random square there. I'm not sure what they were doing. I don't know if there's a reason for that, but it has that square in the back.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then of course one thing I can't see is the tail lights, but they did something strange with those.
Well, they're I'm looking at a picture, and it's just like the whole side panel, and then there are 2 individual tail lights within that big side panel.
Yeah,
it is odd. I don't know what they were trying to do.
What I do like about it though, and crossovers and SUVs kind of got really round recently. They look more like cars. Well, this is definitely a square SUV.
Yeah,
it has that square look that you like with off-road SUVs and stuff. So, yeah. It's kind of strange, but I kind of like it too. It's kind of a cool design.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it looks like an old Defender.
Well, yeah, they were. Well, the old ones were even more square, weren't they?
Yeah, they were more square, and they said they tried to copy the tail lights and stuff. Like, it has cues from the old Defender, but it doesn't look exactly like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad looking, but it is kind of odd, and I don't know if you can. If you looked at it, I don't know if you would know for sure it's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. And one thing I can say though, and I don't think Daddy has a picture of it up, but I do just a quick touch on the interior of it. The interior of it looks like what you'd expect an off-road vehicle to look like. It's covered in rubber and has like what is that? There's this bar that goes across the dash for structural rigidity that you can grab onto. So, yeah. So the interior is good. The exterior is kind of weird, but I kind of like it. So,
oh yeah, I see what you're saying. I got some pictures up now.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I think about the styling. I don't know. Do you like it?
Overall I think I like it. It's odd, but it's not ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some roundness to it, but at the same time, not too much. So it looks like it's should be an SUV off-road vehicle, and not like a BMW X whatever, where it's really, it doesn't look like it should go off-road at all.
And I'm trying to decide if it looks like it's going to age well or not.
It's going to be unique.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think it might. It'll age better than what's that Toyota thing? It looks like a Lego car.
The FJ Cruiser, is that the one?
I think so. It'll age better than that, I think.
It might. I think it may possibly go out of, like most cars, kind of fall out of favor for a while, but later on be pretty sought after, maybe.
The next thing I have is it a Defender? And I have a little issue with it being a Defender. The reason, when Defenders were first made, they're considered to be rugged, almost like farm equipment. They could take you where you need to go and they wouldn't break down. So I guess we can kind of add reliability, kind of lump it in with this. But yeah, I don't know if it's strayed too far away from it. It's still off-road capable, but it's kind of too luxury almost.
Yeah, well, so this one, you know more than I do about these, so I'm going to let you do more talking, but are these supposed to be more reliable than the past ones, or kind of ballpark?
Well, I don't know if they're supposed to be more reliable. I know Land Rover has reliability problems now. Actually, if you go look back at the history of Land Rovers, they were really reliable. And somewhere along the line, they started adding technology, and they kind of fell apart. I know I watched a couple of videos, and after driving it just for a few weeks, the rubber trim around the doors and stuff was coming off.
Yeah, I know which video you're talking about there. I remember seeing that, and I think that's kind of a really minor thing. It's just Land Rover. A lot of people in just recent years, and I'm talking like, when I say recent, I mean like maybe last 20 years or longer. I don't know. It's almost a joke. It's like, oh, you got a Land Rover. When's it going to break down? They got some issues.
There's
highly capable. But
they are
issues.
And see, there's a lot of people that have had issues with the new Defender. I haven't watched very many of those videos, but there's people that had significant issues, and the things that make it a good off-roader are also what causes it to break down, like the air suspension the Defender has, the water fording capabilities, the different things it does, the different electronics, that I don't think it has a locking differential, but as an electronic system, it makes it act like it has one. So
kind of a torque vectoring
kind of thing. So yeah, those are all the things that could eventually break, and that's what kind of is a Defender. Kind of goes with reliability. They used to be so reliable, and I'm not sure it would last a week on a farm.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah. So I don't know about that. So we kind of got covered 3 right there. Is it a Defender, the relationship to the original, and the reliability?
So now they're selling it in the U.S. for 2020, but did they discontinue it to the U.S. for 2021 or 2022 or?
I can't remember.
What did they do? I thought they weren't going to sell it here.
Several years ago that they discontinued it, and that's why everyone in the United States is so excited when it come out. It's been a few years since the Defender has been out, and then I think it's been even longer since it's been in the States. So I think that's why everyone's so excited about it.
I see.
At least I think people are excited about it. I don't know. But I guess we can get into the specs and we can guess a quarter mile time. It's going to be kind of hard. This is the first vehicle, so we have nothing to compare it to. But I don't know.
So I guess the biggest 2 things are going to be how much horsepower and how much weight.
Okay. So it has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine. It has 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque.
Okay.
That's what we're going with.
So pretty good power.
And it has a curb weight of, it's like 5,000. Is that 5,000? I can't really see it good on the screen. I think it says 5,165 pounds. And
sounds about right.
And I won't give 0 to 60 time because that's too much. It's capable of hitting 130 miles an hour. Okay. So that's what I have on it.
So you said nearly 400 horsepower, right?
Nearly
390?
And 406 pound-feet of torque.
No, on a 5,000 pound vehicle.
And it's all-wheel drive, of course.
So all-wheel drive, if you can race an all-wheel drive, that kind of gives it a little advantage as far as coming off the line. But that's a pretty heavy vehicle. Decent amount of horsepower, but not crazy. I'm gonna say this thing's probably about a 13.8.
And I can't really guess. You're almost gonna have to guess the quarter mile time because I can actually see it.
Okay.
But
my guess then I mean, I want to say 14, but we may be into the 13s because that is a decent amount of power, and if it takes off good. But I don't think it'd be much under 14, so I'm gonna go 13.8.
Well, my thoughts I can just say is since I can see it, I'm shocked at the quarter mile time.
Really?
I'm not sure what to think about it. I will say it's slower than what you said.
Okay.
I'm kind of shocked about how much slower
well,
it is.
I feel like it's being kind of generous, you know, because I really want to say it was maybe a 14, and that may be generous.
It does a quarter mile of 15.3 seconds.
15.3. Wow, I gave it way too much.
That's a lot slower.
Well, it is heavy. It does have good power. I mean, that's, you know, people. We'll get into that in a minute, but you know, 400 horsepower is still a good amount of power, but it is heavy. And depending on the gearing, it's probably more geared to go off road.
Yeah, probably so.
So that could have a lot to do with it too. So that actually doesn't surprise me that much. I mean, in a 15-second quarter in an SUV in an off-road vehicle, that's still not bad.
And so if you're watching, I'm gonna be posting a picture with the quarter mile times listed, kind of Top Gear style. So I'm gonna do that. So here's the list, and here's the Land Rover Defender. It's #1 on our list right now. But I don't think that's gonna last long.
And I guess as far as your list goes, the plan, we're going to do one of these videos probably about every 4 to 5 weeks or so. And so we'll keep a running total of all the vehicles that we do and rank them in accordingly.
Okay.
Now, let's see. Let's see here.
So, that's the Defender. It's, I don't know. A lot of people say the speed and it feels like it has enough power, you know. Yeah. But it's not super fast. You'd think it'd be quicker almost with the power and stuff, but so are you gonna be ready for the next one?
I'm ready. I'm ready. The next one is
okay. So the next vehicle on my list is the new 2020 Chevrolet C8 Corvette. And I want to jump straight into the styling on this thing.
You go ahead and start. I lost my picture. Although I know what it looks like anyway.
What I want to say about it is when it first came out, I thought the front of it was pretty cool, you know. But then I seen pictures of the back end of it, and I just was not excited about it. To me, the back end of it looks really Camaro-like. You know, almost looks identical to a Camaro. So I was kind of worried about that, and I honestly didn't like it at first. I think it had to grow on me. Yeah. Because I kind of like it now, but
the tail lights have the Camaro vibe happening the way they're shaped. I think that's where it really gets you, is the tail lights. And the overall you're right. It has a very Camaro look to it, you know, at first glance.
When you look at the side profile, though, if you haven't seen one before, the first vehicle you'd think it is. You'd think it's a Ferrari or something. It's just like the first glance, if you didn't know they redesigned it, you would think it looks like a Ferrari. And I guess to go ahead and bring it up in the styling, this is the first time they put the mid-engine in the Corvette, which we'll discuss a little more in a minute, but that's what it kind of attributes that styling a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because doing that, now all of a sudden, you know, Corvettes always had really long hoods.
Yeah, that's short in the front.
And, you know, the two-seater, the cockpit was really kind of small. And then, you know, the back end was pretty small. So now they got a mid-engine one. Now it's got a really short hood, which is actually the trunk being up front now. Yeah, I can't remember which Ferrari it is, but I've seen comparisons, and they really have a lot of overall similarities.
One thing that I would like to say is, you said it has a trunk in the front. Well, I think the back is excessively long. It actually has a rear trunk too.
Yeah, that's right.
It has the engine and then the rear trunk, and it's almost too long in the back sometimes. Yeah. They kind of counteracted it by putting the wheels so close to the rear, but it was kind of long, I thought, but yeah, it's just really Ferrari-like, and some people I've watched and stuff say they did too much. It's like they threw everything at it. It's like they threw everything Corvette, they threw Camaro, and they threw Ferrari at it. Yeah. But I think it looks good.
I think it's a good looking car. I do now. I know you're really this is your favorite Corvette so far, right?
Uh-huh. I just and not to pick anybody, but I kind of think Corvettes are old people cars, and hopefully I didn't offend too many people because I know Corvette people. But I just haven't been too excited about them. My favorite one before it was I don't even know what year. It's when they had the turbine wheels on them and stuff. Was that a C?
The C3,
C3,
Stingrays,
yeah, something like that.
Like from the '68.
Not the Stingrays. This was after Stingrays. It was
You mean the salad shooter? The
yeah,
C4s?
salad shooter. Yeah.
You like the C4s?
Yeah, I like C4s.
Now before that, you liked the C3s.
Yeah,
you did when you were younger.
I do like the way those look and stuff, but those are kind of collectible, and they almost seem even older person like now than they did before.
I guess what makes a Corvette, I mean, you see a lot of people, because they've always been more expensive than other American sports cars. They're more expensive than a Mustang or a Camaro or a whatever Dodge is making at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a lot of times you gotta get to that point in your life where you have the disposable income to buy a car, especially being a two-seater, because there's not you're not going to throw any kids in the back. At least if you got a Mustang or a Camaro, you got a little back seat and you can throw your little kids in it.
Well,
and then it does cost a lot more than those two cars.
The C5 and C6 Corvette isn't quite as old person no more. People found that you can get them pretty cheap now, and they make good power, and so they're not quite as bad no more. But I kind of want to get into the history now, because what they did with the Corvette now is something they've been talking about doing for years.
And of course, we've watched some videos. You probably watched more than I have. But Chevrolet has done a lot of experimental mid-engine Corvettes back to like the 70s or 60s. It's always been kind of a thought of theirs to make the Corvette mid-engine.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've tried it, and it just wasn't something until now they've been able to actually make affordable, I guess, and make where they can mass produce and put all the pieces together. So it's definitely obviously a big change going from front engine and what's always been since 1953, I think.
Yeah.
To being a mid-engine car now.
Mm.
But
and just one more thing, it's not related to the car now, but it's just so weird what the Corvette was when it first came out and what it became later.
True.
It's a completely different car than it was when it first came out.
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of cars are like that. Okay, now we need to talk about, is it a supercar or a sports car? As soon as they put the engine mid-mounts it, people start arguing about it being, I don't know. I don't think it has enough horsepower these days to be a supercar. Supercars, you usually hear about 600 horsepower or more now.
And what is like 490 something? Not quite 500, is that right?
Yeah, it's not quite 500 horsepower.
Not quite 500.
One thing I will give away, though, it might help out with the quarter mile times. It does do 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds.
So that's just, I mean, for me and my age, I mean, I hear 0 to 60 in 6 seconds or 5 seconds, and to me that's just fast.
Yeah.
And nowadays it isn't. And 500 horsepower for whatever it is, almost 500. I mean, that was just a supercar number. Doesn't seem like that long ago. And in the Corvette, we've seen the videos, we've seen them beating on a lot of other cars.
Mm-hmm. These days, I don't think it's a supercar. If it was years ago, yeah, it would be. But these days, it's more of a sports car. It don't quite have the power or the price to be a supercar. So, I don't think it's a supercar, but I think you probably think in your day it would have been a supercar.
It would have been. It would have been a few years back. Just a few years back, it would have been a supercar. I think now, given the insane horsepower numbers that a lot of your Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and McLarens, and you name it, there's so many out there. Yeah, it doesn't have a number, but it does have performance very close to on par with them.
Yeah.
So sports car, but just practically a supercar. And then I guess we're going to see what happens. Is Chevrolet going to do a ZR1, or they're
yes.
fixing to come out with a Z06, right?
They're going to come out with a Z06. It's going to have a twin turbo flat plane crank V8, and I've heard some sounds of it, and it sounds like a Ferrari now.
Okay.
So it's going to sound like one, and I think they're predicting 700 something horsepower. So I think by then it'll be supercar then.
So yeah, it could be a whole nother discussion at that point.
But yeah, now we have to get into the specs of this one.
Okay.
So I kind of gave away something a little bit right there.
You gave away the 2.8060.
I can give you the numbers here. It has a 6.2 liter V8. It makes 490 horsepower
490, okay.
and 470 pound-feet of torque. And it has a curb weight of 3,647 pounds. And then, of course, you got that 0 to 60 time I gave you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen so many videos, so many people have reviewed it. But I honestly can't remember, though, offhand what it is. I want to say, though, I'm gonna guess 11.5.
Okay, and you're pretty close. It's it does the quarter mile in 11.2 seconds.
11.2. So okay, what's the trap speed? Does it say?
I don't have that on here, but
just curious.
11.2. It has a top speed of 184 miles an hour.
Top speed
of course,
184?
that ain't what's on do in the quarter, but that's the top speed of the car.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy car, and it's crazy that the Corvette's like that now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'll just bring up the interior real quick, and just for a second, it looks nice. Corvettes have had really bad interiors up till now. You get this really nice looking car, and then the interior is just crap. So
that has been definitely a issue with Corvettes. Always, it's the one thing on the Corvette, and I know the C8's your favorite, and I really like the C8, but I really like the C7s too. Honestly, I don't know which one I like better.
They both look good.
They both look good.
I like the C7 because they brought that Stingray style back. Of course, it's really retro and far-fetched from Stingray, but it kind of has that shape and stuff. So I remember the concepts of that one. So that is the C8 Corvette, and I forgot to do it, but we'll post the board right here, and of course the Corvette's on top now.
On top now.
All right. Now we're getting into actual Ferrari for real.
Yeah. F8 Tributeo, right?
F8 Tributeo. So we'll get to the styling on this one. I think we're doing the whatever you call it, Spider or whatever, but it don't look any different really than the hardtop. But that's what we're gonna do. It's a really good looking car, really crazy looking, and I think it's very Ferrari looking. But I know you were talking about how you think all Ferraris kind of look the same.
They do. I mean, I think that I don't know. I look at the pictures now though, and now this has a very C8 look to it.
Yeah, this is the one that they keep putting the C8 next to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know which car it was a minute ago, but yeah, this F8 Tributeo does have a very C8 shape to it. Some of the styling you'll probably disagree with me, but almost reminds me a little McLaren too. A little bit. I disagree a little bit with that, but the way the front's rounded, it does. But the headlights are definitely different, and different things. But yeah, of course, wedge-shaped cars all have that similar. Well, that's true.
Thing, but
I think it's definitely Ferrari though. I mean, it's a good-looking car.
Yeah. It was really good styling, and we didn't have so much to say about Ferraris because we don't see them very often. There ain't much to discuss, but I do think it looks better than the Pista that came before it. Of course, I don't know if you know what that looks like. They just did what the Pista is almost a striping pack. It was like a special edition of the 458 Italia or whatever, and it just they all come with the striping pack. That
Okay.
I just wish you could remove it, and you can't remove it. That's the way it comes.
I see.
But
it is a good looking car. I mean, impressive.
Yep.
Like most, like pretty well all Ferraris, except for maybe that FF. I'm still not sure about that one.
Okay. Now we'll go ahead and get into the specs because we don't have much to discuss else on it. So I'll tell you the numbers here. It has a twin turbocharged 3.9 liter V8. It makes 710 horsepower and 568 pound-feet of torque. Of course, that's on here. It's rear-wheel drive, mid-engine, and it has a curb weight of 3,550 pounds.
So it's 100 pounds, about 100 pounds less than the Vet, but it has 300. What was it? 700 what horsepower?
710.
710.
And
so
then I'll tell you
220 more horsepower.
I'll tell you one more thing. It has the same 0 to 60 as the Corvette does.
Wow, that's
the same
time. That's kind of that's surprising. 100 pounds less, but 210 more horsepower. I mean, it's got to be a 10-second car. So I'm just gonna take a second off my guess for the Corvette and say 10.5.
Okay, you're close. It does 10.2 in the quarter mile.
So it could have taken a 10.
Yeah.
I could have taken a second off the actual Corvette time.
And
so been there.
It does a 10.2 and has a top speed of 211 miles an hour.
211.
And one more thing, the Corvette starts at $56,000 or whatever. And this one starts at $275,000. $275. So, but here's our board, and the F8 Tributeo is currently at the top of our board now. There you go, a real supercar.
A real supercar.
Taking the Corvette out. Okay, so that's all we have for the first 3 cars on our list. Now we're gonna get to Guess That Car Sound. So we'll see you at Guess That Car Sound. Now it's time for Guess That Car Sound. Guess That Car Sound is where one of us picks a audio clip of a car and has the other person guess what it is. This week I'm picking the car, and Daddy is going to guess what it is.
Let's do it.
So, here we go. I gotta minimize my podcast screen so hopefully it keeps recording. It should. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna play the clip. I'll just go ahead and play it right now. There you go. That's the clip right there. You can go ahead and try to guess, I guess.
Can you play one more time?
Yes, I can. Yay, we're still recording. Okay, we'll play some more time.
That's got to be a GT500. Brand new Mustang GT500.
You
that thing
right
shifted
away.
10 times. So I was trying to figure what had a 10-speed transmission.
And it also has a real crazy growl that I just love that it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's funny, I watched a video the other day. It had an all-stock exhaust minus the mufflers.
Really?
That sounded pretty good.
Well, I just, for a second, I thought you were playing me a clip from the Fast and the Furious movie. You know, but there weren't enough shifts. But yeah, okay.
There weren't enough shifts. So, here's the clip I just played. And so that's all we have for Guess the Car Sound. We'll get right back into the discussion after the next transition here. Okay, we're back. Let's see who's going.
Well, with the Ferrari Sf90 Stradali.
Yes, that's the next car we're doing here. Once again, it's a Ferrari, so we ain't gonna have as much to discuss, but maybe a little more. So here we are, the Sf90 Stradali. So this is a crazy looking car.
Yeah, this one is.
It looks it has the same shape, but it's quite a bit different looking than the last one.
The front end is more
pointy and long.
Pointy. That's what it does. I was trying to think of a different word than pointy, but pointy is the only way you can say it.
It's more pointy.
It is definitely more pointy. The general shape is very Vet and Tributeo.
And it has a very more hypercar-like look. It looks kind of like a Enzo or a LaFerrari, more like. It's more longer and it's lower and all that stuff.
Yeah,
more wedge shape.
Just off the ground.
So
it is a good looking car again, and definitely Ferrari.
I think it's too much though. I like the F8 Tributeo better.
The front end's very busy. The side profile isn't that bad. It looks pretty good. The back end is pretty good looking too. But yeah, the front end's very busy.
I don't have a look at the back end. Does it have the round headlights like a Ferrari's supposed to have?
It has, yes.
Okay.
Except they're not completely round. They're a little ovalish.
Yeah.
Almost kind of that Camaro thing we're talking about, but not quite to that extreme.
Yeah, so it's definitely a crazy looking car, and the interior is very luxurious looking. I have a picture, so
I'm looking at a picture too.
It's
with
pretty
the
nice.
Tan leather and
the one I have is black leather. Tan's kind of old person-y, but looks good. So that's the styling of it.
Yeah, no, way too busy up front.
And so I guess we're doing the specs now already.
Okay.
So I'll get into the engine. The engine's a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 and 3 electric motors. It makes 986 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. It has a curb weight of 3,527 pounds, and I won't give the 0 to 60 time this time.
So what'd you say the horsepower was again?
986 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque, and then there's also 3 electric motors, so you have to think about how an electric motor works.
Instantaneous torque. You've gained 250 horsepower over the last car. You're the same weight. They're both 3,500 pounds. My goodness, you got to be quarter miles. Got to be down in the low 9s. I'm gonna call this a 9.1.
Okay, so the time that Ferrari gives is 10 seconds.
10
is the
even.
time, but I watched this channel called Drag Times on YouTube, and he got one at the drag strip, and it ran like a 9.4.
Okay.
So Ferrari
is
kind of Ferrari's kind of sandbagging it, because I tell you what, it flies.
Yeah,
it's just an insanely fast car. So
that's a big gap though. 10 seconds, what Ferrari says, and he got a 9.4 out of it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I think it's a 9.4. It was in the 9s. I know that.
Yeah,
so
car's got to be in the 9s.
One more thing to guess is guess the price on this thing is starting.
The price on this thing is got to be $500,000.
$625,000 starting price.
Starting price.
So, and then everything's an option at Ferrari. So
yeah, I didn't know to watch some of the videos, but the yellow badges that say Ferrari on the side is a major expensive option.
I can't remember. It's stupid expensive.
Yeah, stupid expensive. If you want the little yellow Ferrari badges on the fenders.
So here's our list of cars again. And yeah, it's the top of the list.
Top of the list.
Sf90 Stradali, and I know it's early in the year, but I think that car's going to hold on.
Yeah.
Pretty high on the list. So that's what our list is now. So I guess we'll be ready for the next
Dodge
car.
Challenger Superstock, right?
Yeah, here we go. I'm excited about this one. So now we have the Dodge Challenger Superstock. This car
is like every other Challenger.
This car is the predecessor to the Dodge Demon. You know, at that time, the Dodge Demon was the fastest production car in the world until McLaren and Ferrari decided to go faster. But yeah, fastest production car in the world. So I said styling. It's a Challenger.
Yeah, it's a Challenger. I mean, they changed the hood scoops. It obviously doesn't have the Hellcat or Demon.
Yeah, they keep changing hood scoops on them.
Other than that, I don't know. It's pretty Challenger.
Yeah.
I remember. I found the picture the other day. It was 2008 or 9 when they brought the Challenger out. Dealership I was working at. It was a Dodge dealership.
I remember coming to see it.
I brought it home.
Oh yeah, you did bring it home. Wasn't it black?
It was black. Yeah. It was but there's not that much difference in all these years. They just keep throwing bigger engines in them.
Throwing bigger engines, and yeah, it's just. I mean, it's a Challenger. One thing I do say though, I think they did the best of the retro styling. They did so good that they've kept it this long. It looks good.
They do look good.
You're like, if you park it next to an old one, it almost looks just like it.
Yeah.
You know, they did a good job with it.
Yeah, they did do a good job. I mean, it's a good looking car. It's just too big. Is the only issue with it. If you drive one of these cars, and people talk about it a lot, and you can kind of see it on the videos, but you get in them, you realize it is a big compared to relative again, relative to a Mustang or a Camaro. You get into it and the doors are big and heavy, and the car just overall has a very big feel to it.
The front seats look like couches.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So.
It is a lot bigger for being a quote pony car.
And the next thing I have on here, is it boring or have they wore out the whole big engine thing? What I want to say about this is. It's kind of strange to hear people talk about it, but they've been doing the same thing for so long. They're just like, it's not fast enough, the Hellcat. There's like, well, of course, they went with such a big number, 707 horsepower, but people are used to seeing the numbers improve. Of course, this is a special edition one with like 800 horsepower, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you can ever just put too much in it. I think the problem is, though, that they keep putting more power, but you can't use the power. They need to do something chassis or drivetrain wise or something, because you can have all the power in the world, but if you can't put it to the ground, it stays you no good. And
what I mean by that too, though, is people are like, "Oh, it's another Hellcat." That's what people are doing. It's another Hellcat. But I don't know if it can ever be boring though. That much power.
I don't think it's boring. I think it's I don't know.
I remember when we didn't see no Hellcats, and I was so excited to see one. Now it's like, oh, another car show, another Hellcat.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, a super stock, you probably won't see it. It's more rare than the Demon was.
Right.
And that kind of brings us to the next one. Is it worth it after the Demon? It has less traction and less power.
So it's just, do you want something different than the Demon? Basically, is what it is.
And it's not really different. It's just.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. It's a hard question.
It's more expensive than the Demon was.
Is it really?
So one last thing. I think it's time for a redesign. I don't know though. It just looks so good. I don't know. I'm almost scared to see what they'll do with the redesign.
Yeah.
Of it.
I guess. They're gonna have to do something though. Like I said, they keep putting power, and the chassis is like a Mercedes chassis from the 90s or the early 2000s or something. Whenever Daimler owned Chrysler, so they're using really old underpinnings, and like I said, that's where they really need to focus, is making this car where you can use the power.
I don't know what they'll do at the styling. I just don't want to mess it up.
I don't want to mess it up either. That's going to be hard. How you go next level?
It's so good looking. So I guess we'll move into the specs of it now.
Okay.
So where is it? It has a supercharged 6.2 liter V8. It makes 802 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. It has a curb weight of 4,500 pounds. And it has what does it say? A final drive ratio of 3.09.
309 gears, okay. 309, so that's pretty highway gears for cars when you go on drag race, but there's so much power that doesn't need taller gears. So it's 1,000 pounds heavier than the last Ferrari, the Sf90 Stradali, and it has 150 horsepower less without electric motors, but still Dodge is going to advertise a 9-second time, I'm sure. The Ferrari, they said 10. Brooks drag times did a 9.4. So I'm going to say Dodge is probably saying this thing's going to be. I'm just going to go 10 seconds flat.
They're saying 10.5.
10.5, okay.
That's what they're saying. It don't have as much traction and stuff as the.
That's right, 'cause you don't have the. Okay. So 10.5.
10.5. So
if you can get that.
So that puts it between the Tributeo and the Corvette.
Okay.
So it goes in between those two. So no longer the fastest.
Yeah.
It's the fastest one they make, but it's not the fastest production car. It starts at $79,000. $80,000. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but
okay.
yeah. So that's it right there. Here's our list. We have the SF90 on top. We have the F8 Tributeo second. We have the Super Stock third. We have the Corvette fourth. And fifth, we have the Land Rover Defender.
I think the Defender's going to probably keep on going down the list quite a bit.
Yeah, it's going to go down and go down and go down. So that's really all we have for the discussion on these cars.
All good cars. Interesting.
That's it, and we'll be back with our closing of the podcast. Okay.
That's all we have this time. Make sure you follow Project Maynard Stang on
Facebook at Project Maynard Stang, on Instagram at Project Maynard Stang, on YouTube by searching Project Maynard Stang, and on Twitter at Project Maynard1.
And www.projectmaynardstang.com.
Yep. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.